Hey guys, what's up? So today I have a story time video for you guys, but it's going to be really long, you guys, so I'm just forewarning you. And if you don't want to sit through this, then just click off right now because you're probably going to get annoyed by my voice. But this is going to be so long that I have to actually split it into 2 parts. So today is part 1, and I'm probably going to upload part 2 like tomorrow or something, but it's part 1 right now. And so anyway, I'm just going to jump into it now. So this story time is about how I met my favorite person ever in the world, Christy Altomare. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, she's a Broadway actress. She was in Anastasia the musical, but sadly the day that I'm filming this, you guys, is like the week after it closed, exactly a week after it closed. So I'm so sad because it's not on Broadway anymore, but that's what she was doing until it closed. So anyway, I've been wanting to see this show for 2 years since it opened, but I mostly wanted to see it since last year because that's when I discovered Christy, and it was really special actually because I discovered Christy in March of 2018, and I got to see the show in March of 2019, so it was really cool and special to me that it happened like that. But so anyway, I got to see it 2 weeks ago. It was super fun, and me and my dad saw the show on Tuesday, March 19th. So on Tuesdays, the show would normally start at 7 o'clock. So we get there at like around 6:30ish because we wanted to be kind of early because this was both of our first time seeing a Broadway show and we didn't know what to do. So we kind of like needed to get there a little early so we can figure out what to do. So we did. It was fine. We get in the theater, we find our seats, there wasn't a problem. And right after I sat down, my friend started texting me. So her name is Jenny. She's been in a couple of my videos before. Well, I've mentioned her in a couple of my videos before, and she is very familiar with Anastasia. She is like really good friends with Christy, and she's seen the show like a bunch of times, so like she knows it. So she was just asking me how I was doing because earlier that day I made a post on Instagram saying that I was really nervous because I was meeting Christy and seeing the show. And I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. Like, I'm really nervous, but I'm mostly excited because I've been waiting like 2 years to see this thing. So like, that was it. So we were just talking, and then somehow the subject of buying merch got brought up. So I was like, do you think I should buy merch at intermission or like after the show? Because I was planning on doing it after the show. And she's like, no, like you need to buy your merch at intermission if you want to buy anything. And she's like, I can't tell you why, but like buy it at intermission because if you buy it after the show, like it'll take too much time and then you'll miss your chance to talk with Christy. And I was like, okay. And I was like, but I really don't care because I wanted to be one of the last people in the stage door line anyway. And she's like, no, like girl, like you don't understand, like something's going on, but I can't tell you, but you need to be basically pretty much the first one in line at the stage door. And I was like, okay. And so I got kind of nervous, so I'm like, okay, I'll get it at intermission. So we stopped texting because the show started. So me and my dad watched the show. It was really good, by the way. It was so gorgeous. So we at intermission we go find the merch booth. We kind of got lost, but then we found it, and it was really frustrating because there was like only 4 people ahead of me in line, but it took the whole freaking intermission, and it made me late to getting back to my seat because they took forever. So I buy merch, and then me and my dad go back to our seats, and the show had like already started by the time we get back. So we finished watching the show, and I forgot to tell you, so I had to go to the bathroom really bad at intermission, but I couldn't go because I was buying merch. So like we watched the rest of the show. Then after the show ends, I turn to my dad and I'm like, Dad, like I really need to pee because I cannot hold it and I'm gonna pee my pants. And he's like, okay, but you're gonna get a bad spot in line at stage door. And I'm like, well, I don't care, like I need to go. So I go to the bathroom, I run downstairs, I go, and I come back up, and this took like 3 minutes probably, you guys, like it was lightning speed. So I come back up, I'm like, Dad, run. So we run outside, we go to the stage door line, and by the time I get out there, like it was already 3 rows thick, you guys. I don't understand how that happened. But so I go and I wait in the 3rd row line, and me and my dad are just standing there, and it was really packed. Like people were shoving, it was super annoying, and there was like all these tall people in front of us, of course, so like I couldn't see anything that was happening. Like when people came out, I didn't know who came out. So we're standing there, and all of a sudden a bunch of people start screaming. So I'm like, who came out? And my dad's like, oh, like it's the guy that played the villain, because he could kind of see. And I was like, oh my god, because it was this guy, his name's Constantine Germanicos, and he played Gleb, which is the villain in the show. And I really wanted to meet him because I heard that He rarely ever stage doored, and so I was like really disappointed because I wanted him to sign my playbill and like take a picture with him, but luckily the two guys who were in front of me were like, they heard me, so they're like, well, we could try to pass up your playbill. So they passed up my playbill, and I actually did get it signed by Constantine, but I didn't get to take a photo with him because like he was like, there was too many people, so it sucked, but at least I got my playbill signed. So then Constantine left, and then Cody Simpson came out, and he's basically, if you don't know who he is, he's basically this guy. He's like basically like Justin Bieber, and all the young teen girls like him, and I don't really care for him because he replaced the actor that I like, so like I really don't care for him. But he came out, he was doing his thing, like signing everyone's like playbill and stuff, and then he leaves, and then probably like 10 minutes later after Cody leaves, and I hear like all this screaming, and I didn't know who it was for at first because I couldn't see, like I said, but my dad couldn't see either, and I was like, who came out, and he's like, I don't know, like I can't see anything. But then all of a sudden, like 2 seconds later, I heard this really shrill, high-pitched like, happy birthday, and I knew it was Christy because Christy always sings to her fans, so I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe it. So Christy came out, and she was like signing everyone's thing, but like this whole time that had passed, like my dad was getting really irritated because it was hot, and like I said, people were shoving us, and it was just really like frustrating because we got a bad spot, and like I already felt bad because like I felt like it was my fault. And so my dad's like, he tried to make us leave, but I was like, dude, no, like, because I had paid for everything, you guys. I forgot to say, like I paid for the hotel, the show tickets, the airline tickets, like I paid for everything. My dad just paid for food. And so I was like, dude, no, we're not leaving. Like this is literally the reason I came out here, was like specifically just to meet her and see the show too, but mostly to meet her. And I was like, we're not leaving till I meet her and until I give her my present, until I hug her, until I talk to her. Like we're not leaving. Like it was making me like really like sweat. And so he's like, fine, because he knew like that I was right. So we stay there, but he was getting like kind of irritated. And meanwhile, we had been talking to this really nice older woman that we met in line, and she was like from the same area as us. Like we were both from LA, and we were both in New York at the same time and at the same show, so it was really weird, but it was really cool. So she was so sweet. She was talking to us, but she heard me and my dad kind of like arguing, and so but oh yeah, and so meanwhile, like the line had died down because a bunch of people had left after they got their signatures and their photos and whatnot. So Christy was like, we need to reorganize this line, because I think the security was getting like upset about the line. So she's like, we need to reorganize. So she's like, if you want to talk to me, come down to the right side of the barricade. So everyone moved down, but like there was this big open gap of space where there was no people, and my dad was like, Sarah, go up there. And I was like, no, because I didn't want to cut off the girl who was in front. And he's like, go up there. Like he was getting like really irritated, and he was making me irritated because he kept telling me to go up, and I didn't want to. I wanted to be last, because since I didn't get to do what my friend, like whatever my friend was telling me to do, like I wanted to be last because that was my original plan anyways. And he was like, he kept telling me to go up there, and I didn't want to. But the older woman that we had met in line, she was like, oh, like I'll take you up there, honey. So she grabs my wrist and she starts dragging me up there, and I was like really like irritated because like she kind of got involved, and I felt like my dad kind of made her get involved. So she drags me up there though, and I get up to the barricade, and I had this gift for Christy. So when I get there, I hand my gift back to Christy, and I was like, oh, like I got you this. And she's like, what is this? And so she starts digging in it, and she's like, oh my god, because she pulled out this blue sweatshirt that I got her. It said, my princess name is Taco Bell, and she like holds it up. She's like, oh my god, you guys, look what she got me. And she was like freaked out, like she loved it. And so she's like, take pictures of me. So I'm like taking pictures of her, but she was like, I stopped taking pics, and then she was like posing, but I didn't realize it. And so she's like, no, like take pictures of me, like take more pictures of me. And I was like, okay. So I take pictures of her, and then pretty much she just digs around in my bag and like starts pulling out like everything I got her, and she was like jazzed about everything. She loved everything that I got her, and so I was like super happy about it. So then she gets to this little sandwich baggie, and it had like these things in it, and she's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, like I made you these taco things. And she's like, oh my god. So she's like, we need to take a picture. So she unwrapped them and we took a picture. But like right after that, the security guard walked out. I mean, the doorman walked out, and like everyone in the Anastasia fandom knows him because he's really chill, and he's like, he posts a lot on social media, so like we all know him. His name's Ernie. And so he walks out and he's like, yo, Sarah. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, check yourself. And I'm like, what? And then my dad heard, and he's like, what? And then Christy was like, what? Like we all were confused, and he's like, check yourself. And I'm like, okay. So like I started patting myself, and I was like, what the heck? And I was like scared because how he was saying it, I thought he was mad at me. Like I thought I did something, and he just kept saying, check yourself. And I was like, oh, like I don't know what's going on. And then he's like, you don't even know, do you? And I was like, no. And he's like, your credit card, your ID. I'm like, and so this like went in my head, and I was like, my wallet? And he's like, yes, your wallet. He's like, you didn't even know you lost it, did you? And I was like, no. And I was like, oh my god. So he gives me my wallet back, and luckily, thank god, nothing was missing out of it. And I was like, oh, like thank you. So I get my wallet, and then I was like, thank you, Ernie. And he's like, oh, like it's not a problem. And then it was so funny though, you guys, because Christy was like right there during this whole thing, like when it was happening. So she's like, ooh, you got called out by Ernie. And she said it's so cute, you guys. Like it was so adorable. I was like, oh my god. So then anyway, after that happened, my dad was like, Sarah, tell her about your friend Ginny, because I had meant to tell her about my friend Ginny. And so I was like, oh yeah. So I was like, Christy. And she's like, yeah. And like she was rummaging in my bag, but she like stood up, and she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm friends with Ginny. And she's like, oh, I love Ginny. And she was like so cute, and she was like smiling. And I was like, I think she told you that I was coming today. And Christy's like, what? And I was like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure she said that I was coming today. And Christy's like, did she message me earlier? And I was like, yeah, she told me that she did. And then Christy was like, oh my god. She's like I could tell she didn't know like what I was talking about, but she was like the wheels were turning. She was trying to think, and so in my head I was like, shit, because I'm like, I thought she was gonna know who I was, because my friend Ginny kind of made it sound like she would know who I was. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So then I was like, oh well, like I told her like my friend Ginny got all this bunch of stuff signed by you for me, and she sent it to me. And she's like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, she got me this photo signed at the Broadway Princess party by you. And then Christy like hears that, and you guys, she like, her eyes get so big. She's like, what? And she's like, that was you? And I was like, yes. And she's like, oh my god. She's like, oh my god, oh my god. She's like, that was you? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, this is killing me. She's like, did you get to go backstage? And I was like, no. And but when she said that, I was like, my brain was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. And she's like, oh my god, this is killing me. She's like, I would have taken you backstage, but I can't now because it's too late. And she's like, oh my god. And like I could tell she felt so bad, you guys. She's like, I need to do something for you, but like stay here, don't leave, please. She's like, I need to do something, like hold on. So like she like goes and starts talking to the next person in line that was after me, and then like she gets done with that person, but then I guess she didn't want us to wait because there was like so many other people, you guys. So she's like, wait, hold on. So she like holds up the freaking line, you guys, and she goes in her dressing room, and she comes back, and she has 2 of these bags. This is actually one of the bags she gave me, and there's 2 of them, and they're filled all the way up to the top with candy and sweets. And she's like, oh my god, she's like, I filled these up with everything that's my favorite. She's like, I filled it with all my favorite things. She's like, I feel so bad, but like I can't offer you anything else, but this is all I could offer you. And she's like, thank you so much for coming. She's like, oh my god, like this is killing me. And I was like, because like I really wanted to go backstage. So then after that, pretty much then we took pictures, you guys, after she gave us the candy, and me and my dad were like, oh my god, thank you so much for the candy, Christy. Like I was freaking out. And so we took so she's like, we need to take more pictures. So we take pictures, but you guys, I'm so upset because the way she was hugging me, it was like so perfect, and so like everything that I was imagining, like whenever I would daydream about meeting her, and like everything that my heart wanted, like this is how her hug felt. Like she was hugging me so tightly and like so cute. And my dad was taking photos of us on his phone, but he did something and like his phone didn't save the photos. So I'm so devastated because I don't have those photos for my memories anymore, and like I want to cry, but like I don't have them. But I can tell how she was holding me, like I mean hugging me, because she was like kind of holding me and like hugging me really tightly and like super cute, you guys. And I was like so upset that my dad's phone didn't save the photos. But so we took those photos, and then pretty much after that, we had to leave because there was like so many other people still. And that was what was so cute about this, you guys, because this literally whole interaction took like 25 minutes, and there was like all these bunch of people after me. And usually when you're like in the front of the line, she takes like 5 minutes with you tops, but like she took like 25 minutes talking to me, and I was like, oh my god, and I couldn't believe it, and I was like freaking out. So we said goodbye to each other, and I was like, bye, and she's like, bye, and she's like, thank you so much for coming, and she was like, and like she buzzed me a kiss, and I was like like I wanted to cry. And so like I couldn't believe that this whole thing happened. So basically my dad calls an Uber, and we leave to go back to our hotel because we were staying in Jersey, so we had to get an Uber back to our hotel. So and it was late at night, it was like 11:30, so we get in the Uber, and I felt really bummed because she told me I was supposed to go backstage and I couldn't, and I felt like it was my fault because I went to the bathroom and I came out too late. And so so then we drive home to our hotel because it was late, but I was like super sad because I didn't want to leave, and like I was supposed to go backstage, and it just made me feel upset. So pretty much that's where I'm gonna end this because it's already been long enough. So if you want to hear part 2, then tune in tomorrow because part 2 gets way better, you guys. It gets super awesome. So join me tomorrow for part 2. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and peace. Bye.